What's going on, guys? Static here and welcome to Black Aperture. Hopefully you guys aren't afraid of heights. Before we get started with today's episode, I just wanted to address a couple of things really quickly. The first thing I want to address is in the last episode, a couple of people got kind of confused as to why I was still calling the second episode Phase 1. The phases are kind of like seasons for the series, so really, I don't know how many episodes there's going to be to a phase. It's more or less going to be, I'm assuming with phase 1, when we finish the elevator, or at least get to a point where we can start building things around it, that'll probably be the end of phase 1, and phase 2 will probably be building the facility around that elevator, and so on and so forth. So the phases are more or less marked out by pivotal moments in the development of Black Aperture. So at the moment, we don't know how long each phase is going to be, but when one phase is over, we're going to know. Also, a couple of people have been asking where the Haven episodes have been. Now, I'd love to get some more episodes out of the series. The problem is that at the moment, because of where my computer is in my house, I don't really get that much time to record. So when I do get time to record, I mostly prioritize what I can record quickly and easily, and what's most enjoyable for me to record, and also which videos get more views. So something like Spawn Point is very easy, very quick for me to record and gets quite a few views. So something like that would probably take precedence over something like Haven, which takes a little bit more effort for me to record and upload and doesn't get nearly as many views. So that being said, I have bought a new desk and a couple of things that are going to allow me to move my computer from where it is currently into my own little recording area. So yeah, I'll get a lot more time to record in the near future, which will mean many more Haven episodes. And I intend to make them quite regular uploads, so like one episode a week, that kind of thing. So, with all of that out of the way, let's get into today's episode. God, I love doing that. Alright, so we might as well just start off really quickly with the progress on the elevator. Now, I managed to fix the issues with sending the signal up that I was having, where when you traveled up the elevator, although the signal down here would reset, it'd still have the floor selected in the RS NOR latch array. Now, the issue that I was having there was that I was using the reset line from the RS NOR latch to, the RS NOR latch array, to set this RS NOR latch to tell the elevator when the current floor has been selected. So what I mean by that is that by selecting any of, whoops, sorry, there's a few holes and stuff around the place. By selecting any of these floors on this array, it would tell the elevator that you are on this floor since you're using this particular array selector array. The issue there, though, was that I had the reset for the RS NOR latch be these pressure plates here. And so what they would do would be they'd reset this RS NOR latch, which would tell the elevator that this level is no longer selected, which would send the elevator up to the next selected level. However, that reset would also then have to power this line to reset the RS NOR latch array, which again would tell the elevator that this level is selected. So as you can see, we get a bit of a circular logic problem there. So the way I fixed this was I've actually inverted the output of the RS NOR latch, and I've flipped what the inputs do. So, so the reset line up here is actually our new reset line for this side of the latch as well. So basically, whenever this reset line gets powered, the elevator is told we're not currently selecting this level. However, where we select this level is the call button over here. That's kind of a no-brainer. I'm kind of embarrassed that it took me as long as it did to come up with that solution. But yeah, so when you select a floor, it sends, as in, shouldn't have done that. It sends current through this way, which resets this RS NOR latch, and as you can see by the fact that this line here is turned off, this floor currently isn't selected. However, when we then select our call elevator function, you'll see that triggers, and it's flipped the latch so that now this floor is selected. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense what I've done there. And so then, yeah, the stepping on the pressure plate here, it flips the latch, and so that this floor is no longer selected, as well as powering the reset line, so all of the selected floors here get reset. So, bit of a little bit confusing, but hopefully I've explained that well enough for you guys to understand. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of extra redstone circuitry on the side here, which is basically the downward select. So, let me just make sure, yep, none of the floors are selected. Cool. So what happens here, if we select, let's say, level 2, so I'll select level 2, you'll see that the level 2 signal on the top here is lit, so we know that level 2 is selected, which changes the state of this torch tower, which comes down to this point here, and just sends current along, along this line here, and does the exact same thing that selecting the floor from below or on this level would do, basically. And as you can see, this line is selected, so level 2 is currently selected. I've also had to add in a little bit of extra logic into the elevator. The reason being is that, say we're on this level here, which I believe is level 5? No, level 4. So we're on level 4 here at the moment. If we select level 6 and go into the elevator, if we had a level 6, the elevator would work perfectly, we'd go all the way up to level 6. However, if we selected a level that was below us, so say level 3, at the stage that it was, the elevator wouldn't go down, it only knew how to go up. So I've added in a little bit of extra logic so that the elevator knows when we've chosen to go down or when we've chosen to go up. So on level 4 here, only these 3 levels are below us, so the output from all 3 of these RS NOR latches goes into, I guess, what you'd call a very, very basic AND gate. Sorry, not an AND gate, an OR gate, so if any of these are selected, this line will be powered on. And yeah, it goes into a bit of little bit of complicated redstone circuitry, but basically all this does is that when we step on the pressure plates to go down, instead of sending the current up through the elevator, or the ripple up through the elevator, it comes over here and powers our reverse gear of the elevator, so the elevator goes down. The only problem with the down function at the moment is, and it looks like we've got a couple of levels selected at the moment, I might it doesn't matter, I guess. The only problem with the down selection at the moment is that if we're on level 4 and we select level 2 and then call our elevator, both level 4 and level 2 will be selected. However, the call elevator function, as you've seen, sends a ripple through the elevator, and it stops at the first selected floor, which in this case would be level 2. So the elevator would never actually come up to us. So that's basically where I'm at the moment. Between now and the next episode, I need to get that figured out. I need to find a way of making it so that the first time the call elevator ripple goes past level 2, if it's selected as a lower floor, the ripple goes past level 2 and goes to the next floor. But it needs to make sure that level 2 stays selected. If I could quite easily make it so that when you select level 2 and it's below you, it doesn't tell the floor that it's been selected. The problem then is that when you click to go down, the elevator is going to end up going all the way down to the very bottom, because it's not going to stop at level 2, which has been selected, because it won't have been selected, basically. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I would give you a demonstration of the elevator going down, but it's kind of, like I said, kind of buggy as a result of the issue I've just gone over. I might just quickly mock up a demonstration right here. I'm going to have to cut, though, because I've got to manually select all the floors and stuff to get rid of, to overcome that issue with the logic. Okay, so it took a little bit of doing, but as you can see, level 2 is currently selected up here, and not sure if you can see, but down there, level 2 is also selected, and we've called our elevator up to us here on level 4. So what should happen is when we walk over these pressure plates, you'll see that the elevator starts going down. So there goes, there goes level 3, and here comes level 2. So you see level 2 stops on level 2, elevator waits for us, we get out, and off it goes. So yeah, the downward function does work. I've just got to put in a little bit more logic so that it does it all automatically, and I don't need to go back and mess around with the wiring, because obviously that's not very user-friendly the way it is at the moment. Anyway, that's enough about the elevator for today. We might take a look at a more creative project I've been working on recently. Okay, so those of you who have been following my channel for quite a while now have probably picked up that I'm not too good with the creative side of Minecraft and making things look good. But I wanted to try and have something for the wall of the facility that actually does look kind of nice, and I plan on making the facility look nice later on as well. But yeah, I thought I'd start with a smaller project, so the wall here, and yeah, I've been struggling a little bit to try and come up with something that looks good, but I don't know, I kind of like what I got going here, so let me know what you guys think. Basically what I wanted was two types of section for the wall. So we have these pillar type sections here, which would divide the, or separate the sections of just plain wall, and then we've got just the plain wall sections. And I do like the scenery that we've got around the facility, so like the desert over here, the snowy biome over there, we've got a swamp over in that direction, and some grassy area over that way. I like that scenery, so I wanted to sort of include that, but I also wanted to make it clear that Black Aperture, the facility, wanted to keep themselves separate from the outside world. So this is what I sort of came up with for a way to include the outside as well as make it look separate. So what this is a 3-block wide wall where there's a pattern of iron blocks. So the iron blocks are in sections of 3 with sections of 3 glass between them. So as you can see, it's a repeating pattern. And I've just changed or alternated on each level whereabouts the iron blocks start. So here you can see that the top and the bottom level are identical, with the middle one being in between. So the inverse, I guess you'd say. And then the middle floor, it's the middle section of it, the pattern's different again, and same for on this side. And I think that creates quite a cool little look. I mean, it's from a distance, I think it looks very cool. And one thing that I like is that when you move around, the wall actually sort of, I don't know if you can see it, but it sort of seems to change shape slightly, so which I think is quite cool. The wall looks different on all different angles. So very simple, but I kind of like it. Now these little tower sections here, I'm not really sure what to call them. I kind of sort of refer to them as monoliths because they're kind of monolithic. I don't know. But yeah, they're, they took a little bit more effort to design than the fence sections. The fence sections were relatively easy to come up with, but you'd be surprised how long it took me to come up with this design here. The obelisks, though, or monoliths, or whatever you want to call them, they're essentially just a slightly rounded sort of tower. I wanted to go for a little bit of a more of a curvature sort of look into the thing, since I'm normally prone to very sharp edges. So I normally create cobblestone cubes or whatever, but I wanted to go for a little bit more of a rounded look with this, so that's what I've gone for at the moment. And also I want to, once the facility's chugging along on its way, I want to hook these up to a day-night sensor, as well as a couple of other things throughout the facility. And what I want to happen is very simple. When it's nighttime, this is the state that it'll be in during nighttime. So as you can see, no visible glowstone or redstone lamps or anything, but these do light up quite well. I'll show you a shot of these at night time in a moment. And then in daytime, what I want to happen is these to get powered, or sorry, yeah, powered, that's right. And that's basically what we end up with. So only a subtle difference, but I think at night time it'll make the facility look great. I'll show you, as I said, I'll show you in a moment what those look like when lit up. Alright, so this is what the monoliths look like at night time when they're powered on. Those ones at the back are malfunctioning a little bit. You see that the redstone lamps are visible at the back. The pistons should be pushing them up, but they're not at the moment, so I'm going to have to fix that. But this one sort of gives you a good example of what it's supposed to look like. So you can see no visible glowstone, no visible redstone lamps, no torches, nothing like that. But this thing absolutely glows. You can see this from a mile off. Probably not literally, but I don't know. I think that adds quite a nice little effect. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. As I've mentioned, I'm not very good with the design aspect of Minecraft. So if this is like really ugly, feel free to let me know in the comments section down below, guys. It's the only way I'm going to learn. But also, if you like this, let me know, as like I said, not very confident with this kind of thing, so all the positive reinforcement I can get, the better. Now, the other thing that I do like about this design is that I do want to get the monorail system going at some point, and if we have the monorail going, you can actually have it riding on top of the fence. You don't need the actual glass panes or minecart tracks or anything, and so the monorail would basically just ride along the fence like so. And I like the way the iron blocks are on either side of that. I think it just looks cool, almost like road lines. And then obviously the monorail would probably go around the corner here and so on and so forth. So yeah, let me know what you think about the wall, guys. If you like the design, I'll probably, between now and the next episode, extend this so that it goes all the way around the cobblestone cube, or sorry, stone brick cube. And I'll probably actually be doing that by hand. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but as I've mentioned several times before, I do prefer the hands-on approach to Minecraft. Alright, so on the note of the monorail, let's check out what's going on with that. So I've had a lot of responses from you guys, and I'm actually going to need to get rid of these minecarts here. I had a lot of responses from you guys. A lot of people were suggesting put straight sections of track after the bend in the corner. I actually did have straight sections of track around the corner. It still wasn't working. People have also suggested powered rail. Didn't really make a difference whether I had the rail powered or not. However, the most elegant solution that I got sent was sent to me by a player named Timberwolf. And this is the solution that I've got in front of me here. So basically what happens is you get your 4 minecarts and hit the powered button, and it goes around the track. And so this is basically what we had before, with the minecart just going along the glass pane. However, when it gets to a corner, it hits this corner, the sloped section of rail, and then the straight section, and that seems to bunch all the carts back up again and stabilize them, send them off in the right direction. And I do really like this solution, if I can get out of the minecarts. As you see, it's only a 2x3x1 solution, so very compact, very streamlined, and yeah, definitely fits the look for what I want to get going for the monorail. So I'm not entirely sure though if this system will survive the patch where mob force fields are getting removed, because you'd think that if they're removing mob force fields, they'd probably remove the minecart force fields as well, which are responsible for this nifty little glitch. So hopefully they don't, and the monorail system will be a go. But yeah, that's what I got going at the moment for that one. And so lastly, guys, there's these 3 little circuits here that I came up with. And when I say came up with, guys, I don't mean that I'm saying that I'm the first person to have ever made these circuits. All I'm saying is that I was messing around, came across these circuits, and I haven't seen any tutorials or anything on these kind of circuits. So as far as I know, I came up with them, but like I said, chances are someone has made these before me. So this first one here is probably going to be familiar to a couple of people. This is the same circuit that I use for my ice generator, except instead of having water blocks here, an ice block form here, and a tower of ice there, as you can see, I've just got a column of sand. And what this basically is, I was trying to come up with a way of, or another way of transferring redstone signal vertically, so in this case downwards, without actually sending any redstone signal through this area here. And the reason for this was I wanted to try and find a way of compacting the carry for Cube Hamster's counter with 7-segment display. If you've seen Doc M's recent World Tour episodes, you'll see that the carry comes out of the top of the circuit, and the way he's done it is it comes across down the back and down behind the circuit, underneath, and to the next counter. And I wanted to try and find a way of compacting that without messing up the redstone throughout the circuit. And so I thought the best way to do that is in a redstoneless manner. And so basically what happens here is when this piston at the top receives signal, so for example when the carry gets activated, it pushes that sand block off, which activates the bud switch, which then pushes the sand block back up. And you'll notice when the sand block goes down, this redstone line on the top pulses, and so that would be our output. Or alternatively, you could take output from this piece of redstone dust here, which this redstone dust isn't necessary. The circuit will still, I need a button on the other side, will still work without that redstone dust. I was just putting that there to illustrate that you can take output from that point there. So not 100%, not completely a useful circuit, not a very useful circuit, but I thought it was kind of cool. Okay, so our next circuit that I'm going to show is this one over here, and basically what I was trying to do was I was trying to come up with new bud switch designs, and I wanted to come up with a design that only used one piston, and this is what I came up with. As you can see though, one interesting quirk about the circuit is that it will randomly pulse. So at the moment you can see it's not doing anything. But every now and then this torch will turn off, which will pulse the circuit, which I think is kind of cool. I'm not 100% sure what people would want to use a randomly pulsing bud switch for, but I know for certain that there'd be uses out there for one. In fact, I can think of a couple of uses that I might have for this in Black Aperture. So the way that this bud switch works is that when there's no block where this piston pushes the block to, you see that the redstone line comes out of this torch and turns the corner down to this way. And because there's this corner piece of redstone, it's not powering this block and turning the torch off, which means that this torch is free to power the piston on. So when we place the block here, you can see that it cuts off that connection there. So this redstone line now does go straight. However, this block hasn't updated, hasn't realized that it's being powered, so this torch stays on. And yeah, stays powering the piston. However, if you update a block around the torch, you'll see that the piston updates. Also, every now and then, I think the game will randomly check this, check blocks around the world, and if it randomly checks this block, it realizes that the block is in the incorrect state and changes the state, which then repeats the circuit. So yeah, just a kind of cool little circuit that I thought you guys would be interested in. And finally, there's this one here that I'm calling the BA bud, or the Black Aperture bud, just because I think this thing's really cool. Now, strictly speaking, the bud switch is just this little section here. As you can see, the bud switch works. Some of the cool things about this bud switch are it's a one piston bud switch, unlike most other buds where they need two pistons. And as you can see, the response time is extremely quick. In fact, you can get this thing pulsing so quickly that it burns out this torch. And the cool thing about doing that is that I wasn't able to do it that time, but if you get that torch to burn out, you can remove most of this circuit and just leave the redstone torch and a couple of blocks around it, and it'll be a basically a pistonless one-shot bud switch, or a same with this one. Occasionally it'll just set off automatically. So kind of like a random timer. And so you can use this for pistonless landmines. So like the landmines that I've got over there, just with a torch instead of piston. Now the other cool thing about this bud switch is you saw that I had these two little extensions here and another piston over this way. And this is for connecting this bud switch up to more BA buds. And what happens when you connect them up and use these two little extensions is, depending on which redstone lines you have extended, so if you remove this one, or if you have them both, or if you remove that one, it causes the bud switch to update this piston in different ways. So for example, you'll see if we have the two updated, the two extended, both pistons in the bud switch activate at the same time. However, if we remove this one, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of a delay between this piston and this one, which means you can, just by removing this one piece of redstone and then just putting 3 other BA buds in a circle, you can create a piston clock. And then you can also, I can't remember quite what this one does, but if you remove this one and have a couple of BA buds in a specific sequence, you get a completely different effect. So very cool little circuit that I thought you guys might be interested in. Now, before I finish up the episode, guys, just a couple of quick things I wanted to cover. In the last episode, one of the top rated comments was that people wanted black Aperture t-shirts. This is something I've been wanting to get going for a while now, actually, was t-shirts for my channel. So let me know in the comment section down below if that's something you'd be interested in buying. I've got a couple of designs in mind, but if you'd like to send me other designs for t-shirts, feel free to send a link to a picture in a private message. And if there's any designs sent to me that I really like, I'll be more than happy to make them into t-shirts. Also, a challenge that, or a suggestion that was left in the comments of the last video was for me to put somewhere in the facility a bunch of note blocks with the Black Aperture theme song. Now, the problem is there isn't actually a Black Aperture theme song at the moment, so again, if there's anyone out there who's kind of musical and you want a project to work on, by all means, try and come up with a Black Aperture theme song, and if you do, I'll try and find a way of putting it into the world somewhere with note blocks. Now, you might have noticed that today's episode was a little bit shorter than the first two, and that's because I didn't really intend for the Black Aperture episodes to be as long as the first 2 episodes were. I think 40 to 50 minutes is a little bit long, so I'm going to be trying to aim for around about 30 minutes per episode. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below, whether you like the longer episodes or would prefer shorter, snappier episodes. As always, I'm completely open to suggestion. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please do show that like button some love, and I will see you guys next time.